I had been painting and done a variety of different art forms, sculpture and other kinds of things for a long time. One of the things that I found myself doing is something that Nancy talks about, and that is repeating myself and creating not terrible paintings, but just the same paintings, sort of variations on a theme, but not going anywhere particularly exciting or new. And at the same time, exactly what Gisela was saying before about playing and permission to play. So we all have a serious side and a playful side, and I think sometimes we are forced to choose between the two. And Nancy basically says, embrace both, but she does it in such a unique way. And one of the ways that the serious part happens, and I think this was profound for me, and I had a lot of art training and technique and so on, which I shed very quickly when I got rebellious, like, hey, and just said whatever. But one of the things that Nancy does on this, and Bruce is a big part of this, I think, that what Nancy does in the serious mode is to provide us with concepts that we can apply. Absolutely. And I mean concepts that are big, elastic bags of ideas that can push your art to a new place and can actually internally change, like Elizabeth said, internally change the way you really think about what you're doing, or feel about what you're doing even. So there are all these applied concepts, and in between the applied concepts, Nancy shares some tools and techniques, like her Big Mama brush, or that's a tool, right? Or using different kinds of materials or techniques, and talking about, as Lorraine said, about values and other kinds of things related to getting the balance right and so on. Well, she talks about those things, but they're all in a context of those large concepts. And so it's not about do this and you'll have a fabulous painting. It's about do this and think about that. And what is that going to, and then what's going to happen? And so there's always this open-ended question. And that's what art really is, right? It's just open all the time. It's just openness actually leads you to the new, to the different, to the exciting place of discovery. And my playful side comes out with just intense and too much experimentation. So I was constantly trying to limit my experimentation because everybody else said, well, you're not settling down, you're just a butterfly flitting from one thing to another. But the experimentation is a powerful thing for me. And Nancy sort of validates that, and then and everybody in this group validated that in these conversations right now and all throughout the year. When I would go to the recorded conversations of the group, when I couldn't actually attend in person, I would see that validation of each other and of that experimentation and pushing yourself to just try stuff. And that was just my natural modality in the first place. So that was just glorious. But then, amazing new kinds of things happened, and I got away from the formulaic, what became a formulaic painting style that I loved when I loved it. But then where are we going, right? So moving to a new approach, which is sort of let things surface, and let things surface from the deepest part of you, but also let things surface from fiddling around and just sort of playing with materials, playing with ideas, and not completely rejecting those ugly paintings, which I had a pile of stacks of, like Gisela said, there's stacks of those, right? And so you just keep looking at things and thinking, I see what's going on. I'm beginning to see what's going on here. Nancy's concepts, the adjacent possible concept of, you do this one thing and it's going to open another door and then another door, and eventually you're going to be in a place you've never been. And that's the whole point. That's the great part, right? And it is fun when you can do series and just, roll off a bunch of things that are related and are inspired by one mark or one little idea. And all of this comes from Nancy sort of giving you permission and it's not just permission, it's just this encouragement and this sort of like excitement about, and then what's going to happen, right? And then what's going to happen. And so I've got all kinds of experiments going on here. Nancy knows, Bruce knows, the group knows.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
All in crazy experiments, and so the latest. Well, I've done some stuff with solar paper, and so that's kind of fun. But the latest thing is that I had been a long time ago. I was doing silver point drawing, and this in the hands of Dürer. This silver point was something else, this rabbit where you could see every hair and all of that. Well, in my hands, it was just, scratches on a piece of prepared paper. But then I started thinking, well, I could draw with my grandmother's gravy ladle, and I could draw with a copper valve, and I could draw with, this is just a copper valve from Home Depot, from the hardware store. So I went to the hardware store and I got all this stuff. But I could also draw, I don't know if you can see this. This is nothing exciting, but except that it is exciting. This is sandpaper, and you can draw on sandpaper. This just came to me, and house paint chips and stuff like that. And I just, wow, so this is Nancy. Nancy just goes, plug yourself in and let it roll. But here are some foundational concepts.
Yes.
And her steady, encouragement of like, let it roll, but also her excitement when she discovers something, when she's doing a demonstration or someone else is talking about their work, and she can see the fire, and that's what's exciting. And honestly, you people who are here thinking about taking this course or already signed up, you're in for something extraordinary. It will change your art. It will change your art. It will change the way you feel about it, and it will change the kinds of things you end up doing, I think. Anyway, I get too excited. You can tell.
Wow. Wow, Kathryn.
I could talk forever about stuff like this. I mean, it's just, the concepts and the inspiration that comes from those concepts is really amazing.
Wow. Thank you, Kathryn. I just got goosebumps the whole time you were talking. Your experimentation, and you're also deeply understanding that it is about the big foundational concepts. Yes. We want to go somewhere new. Yeah. We don't want to just keep doing what's been done. And that, going somewhere new doesn't go from just technique after technique after technique, right? Techniques are fine, but they're not the thing itself. And we want to get at the foundations, like you all have heard me talk about Johan Utzon and Monocoque, that whole composed all-in-one piece, and how that led to the Sydney Opera House big mama concept leads us somewhere new. Okay, so yes, and you explicated that beautifully. So thank you.